Russell Wilson. Short term, long term. Short term. At what point do you ask yourself, if you were the Steelers, do we need to sprinkle in some Justin Fields or a lot of Justin Fields? At what point do the 5 sacks? Now, again, if the guy's not open, the guy's not open.
I know.
But if Justin Fields out there and somebody isn't open, he'll take off for 20 yards.
Yeah.
Like, at what point do you have to say, maybe Fields gives us the best chance to advance? I know with Russell Wilson, the idea was he's got the Super Bowl experience. That was why Mike Tomlin flipped over to him. And I don't think Mike Tomlin's going to be able to let go of this because he's put so much of himself into it.
Exactly.
And he was convinced that Russell Wilson gives him a better chance to get to the Super Bowl than Justin Fields. But it might be that Justin Fields gives him a better chance to advance past the wild card round than Russell Wilson does.
Well, I still think Russell has an advantage as far as throwing in the pocket and doing stuff of that nature, right, and trusting him that way. But I would agree with you in the fact that it's a little late, I think, in the game to mess with that right there, and it feels like Tomlin has kind of framed it around Russell's our leader, and I don't think he's going to want to leave that. And like I said, I think he's going to sell the fact of like, hey, we had chances in these last few games, and we made critical mistakes, and if we don't do that, we could have been in that, right? He didn't want to hear it after the Eagles game, if you remember in the post-game press conference. He's like, I don't want to hear that it was just one game. They're not in a different class of us, right? So he's going to find a way to sell that. But like to your point with the Justin Fields, here would be my thing, is that their offense isn't good enough. They need other elements anyways. So why not down the stretch here start to add something else into the offense? You don't have to take Russell Wilson off the field if you don't want to. I don't know. But the quarterback design, run stuff, hey, Calvin Austin flying one way, we maybe give him the ball. Oh, maybe not. I keep it and go the other way, and the running backs lead me up with a pulling guard. I mean, they can use all they can get right now on that side of the ball. There's just not enough explosive playmakers for them, and that's where they could use Justin Fields and some of the elements I think you're talking about, Mike.
And then there's the question of, and this is the last I'll say about this game, but I think it's important for us to get ahead of what may be coming this offseason, because it was just last year that the Steelers got rid of their entire quarterback room. Everybody, get out of here. We're starting over with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and then they added Kyle Allen to be the number 3. They could do the same thing this year because all of those guys are in the last year of their contracts. Not that a contract would stop a team from tearing it up. Hell, they got rid of Kenny Pickett, even though he had guaranteed money left. They got the Eagles to take him on as the backup. Do you consider, if you're the Steelers, you have to at least consider it, how close do you think they come to actually hitting that button again? Because I don't know that Russell's done enough to make you say, that's our guy for the next 1, 2, 3 years. I don't think Justin Fields has done enough for you to say, we're going to sign him to a long-term contract. And think about this. You know, when we try to come up with the list of teams that we know will be looking for quarterbacks in the offseason, it's a short list. But I think we got to start moving the Steelers into that category as a strong possibility. And, Chris, the thought that I had the other day, I'm going to say it.
Say it.
We've seen them make googly eyes at each other during games before, and he's been playing well the past few weeks. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, Mike Tomlin, one ride together next year. I tell you what, of all the choices that Rodgers may have or may not have, and he's elevated, I think, and enhanced his chances for 2025 by how he's performed lately.
Right.
That's one of their options. Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold, Aaron Rodgers, another one-year arrangement. Until they find their franchise guy, let's go get the best guy that we can for the lowest amount of money we can and make the best of it.
Yeah, I don't think anything you said is crazy there. I would agree. And, yeah, I certainly don't think Russell Wilson has done enough here to where we're going to sit here and go, oh, well, he's got it locked up. He's the guy next year. No, I think it's one where they keep him here at a distance and – wait, we've thought long and hard. Is there somebody else we can get better? And I think Russell will end up being like the fallback option by the way it looks right now, bearing a turnaround or a deep run in the playoffs. Yeah, that's the way it kind of feels, that they will look for options that are better than Russell Wilson. But if they can't, then maybe that's where Russell Wilson comes back. But as we know, I think there is going to be some people out there that Yeah, certainly you could go, I think he's better than Russell Wilson, and he could be better for the Pittsburgh Steelers altogether. They're definitely going to sit down and think about that, Mike, when the year's over. There's no doubt.
I said, and I'm sure others said this as well going into the season, this is basically it for Russell Wilson. This is up or out. This is prove yourself to be a starting quarterback, or you're going to have to humble yourself and be a backup. Joe Flacco is one of the rare quarterbacks who was once highest paid in the NFL, who's decided to hang around as long as he can because he loves the game and he wants to be around it. Will Russell Wilson accept willingly, voluntarily, and with eyes open? Because he kind of got the slap in the face when they brought in Justin Fields this year. And then they lingered with Justin Fields even after he was healthy for a little bit. Would he say, I'll take the number 2 job? Would he stay in Pittsburgh as the number 2 to an Aaron Rodgers? That is where things are going to get very interesting because he doesn't need the money, clearly.
Yep.
And he could just say, I'm not going to be a backup. I'm not ready to admit that I can't do what I used to do. I'll wait for somebody to give me the opportunity to do what I used to do. And I don't know that the opportunities are going to be out there because, number one, there aren't going to be a lot of teams looking for starting quarterbacks. And number two, based upon the totality of his performances in 2024, I don't think there's going to be a land rush of teams saying we have to get Russell Wilson.
Not at all. No. I mean, gosh, this year it felt like there was only one team that wanted Russell Wilson this year. And it's the team he's on. So, yeah, I'm with you, Mike. It's going to have to be really good play the last week of the year. It's going to have to be impressive into the playoffs, I think, for him to at least squash the idea of him being replaced, or if he even wants to enhance his view in other people's eyes around the league.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.